You won't believe how bad things have gotten between Kirk Frost and young Jock. Because what started as a brotherhood built on years of loyalty just exploded into one of the most shocking fights in love and hip-hop Atlanta history. One moment they were laughing like old friends, the next they were screaming, throwing shade, and almost throwing hands in front of the cameras. The betrayal, deep, the insults, vicious, and the fallout. It's not just ruining their friendship, it's dividing the entire cast. Social media is already calling it the end of an era. And trust me, when you hear what Kirk said, my jock snapped. You'll understand why there's no coming back from this. Grab your tea, because this isn't just drama. This is a full-on war between two former best friends. And someone's reputation might not survive it. It was supposed to be just another night in Atlanta, a celebration, a reunion, a chance for old friends to link up and reflect on how far they'd come. Kirk Frost and young Jock had been through it all together. The music, the business moves, the women, the scandals, and the kind of late-night conversations that only real brothers share. Their friendship wasn't just a reality TV storyline. It was one of the few bonds on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta that felt real. But all of that came crashing down in one unforgettable night that fans are still talking about. The tension had been building for months, even if no one noticed at first. There had been whispers, shady interviews, subliminal Instagram posts, and off-camera arguments that the public never saw. But behind the smiles and photo ops, things between Kirk and Jock were not okay. Sources close to production say that it all started with money, specifically a joint business venture that went left. According to insiders, Kirk and Jock had partnered on a promotional event that was supposed to expand both of their brands. But when the event flopped and lost tens of thousands of dollars, the blame game began. Jock reportedly accused Kirk of pulling out of marketing commitments and sabotaging the rollout, while Kirk felt Jock was careless with the budget and didn't take the project seriously. At first, the two tried to keep the argument private, but in the world of love and hip-hop, secrets don't stay buried for long. By the time filming for the new season began, the tension was palpable. Jock's jokes about fake business partners during a confessional interview didn't go unnoticed by Kirk. And Kirk's cold, dismissive attitude toward Jock in group scenes had fans speculating that something was wrong. But no one, not even the producers, expected what happened next. It all went down at what was supposed to be a laid-back event. It's a small celebration thrown by Carly Red for her latest business launch. The entire cast showed up, dressed to impress, drinks flowing, cameras rolling, and for the first hour, everything was civil. Kirk and Jock even shared a hug when they arrived, smiling for the cameras and pretending everything was cool. But that peace didn't last long. The first spark came during a group toast. Carly raised her glass and started talking about real friends who stick by you through everything. It was meant to be lighthearted, but Jock took it as a jab and he fired back. "Yeah, real friends who don't disappear when the check clears," Jock said, loud enough for everyone to hear. The room went silent. Heads turned. Kirk froze. And then he laughed. Not the kind of laugh that says, "I'm amused," but the kind that says, "I'm about to lose it." "Real friends," Kirk shot back, "don't throw shade when they can't handle their own business." And just like that, the gloves were off. What started as passive-aggressive comments turned into a full-blown screaming match in front of everyone. Jock accused Kirk of stabbing him in the back and lying about where the money went. Kirk accused Jock of using him for clout and dragging his name into messy drama. The tension that had been simmering for months finally boiled over. And the cameras caught every second. "You've been fake since day one," Jock yelled, standing up from the table. "You smile in my face and talk behind my back. That's not brotherhood. That's snake behavior." "Snake behavior," Kirk shouted back. "You're the one running to the blogs crying broke while still trying to flex for the gram. Don't act like I'm the problem." The shouting got so intense that security started inching closer. Drinks spilled, chairs shifted. Carly tried to step in and calm things down, but neither man was listening. Years of frustration, resentment, and betrayal were exploding right there in front of everyone. At one point, Jock got so heated he slammed his drink down on the table, splashing Kirk's expensive shirt. Kirk shoved the table back. Jock stepped forward. And for a moment, it looked like it was about to go from words to hands. "Do it," Kirk shouted. "You've been waiting to do it, right? Go ahead." "Man, you're not even worth it," Jock snapped, backing off, but his body language said otherwise. Producers rushed in before it could escalate further, pulling them apart and ushering Jock outside to cool down. Kirk stayed inside, visibly fuming, muttering under his breath as the cameras rolled. "He's dead to me. That man's not my brother anymore." Outside, Jock wasn't any calmer. Surrounded by castmates trying to calm him down, he lit into Kirk again. "I did everything for that dude," Jock said, voice shaking with anger. "I stood by him through all his scandals, through all that mess with Rashida, and this is how he repays me. Nah, we're done." By the end of the night, the once unbreakable bond between Kirk Frost and young Jock was in ashes. They left the event separately, refusing to even look at each other. Cast members said it felt like watching a family break apart. It was more than just an argument, one insider told producers. It was betrayal. Years of loyalty, gone in one night. And the craziest part, this was just the beginning. Because as explosive as that confrontation was, what happened next would make this fight look like child's play. Secrets would be exposed, alliances would crumble, and one of the most iconic friendships in Love and Hip-Hop history would be tested in ways no one saw coming. The explosive argument between Kirk Frost and young Jock at Carly Red's party wasn't the end. It was just the spark that lit a much bigger fire. What started as a shouting match that night quickly spiraled into one of the most public, petty, and downright ugly feuds in Love and Hip-Hop. Atlanta history. The brotherhood was dead, and now both men were ready to burn whatever bridges were left. The morning after the fight, social media was already buzzing. Fan pages reposted clips from the altercation hundreds of thousands of times. Hashtag KirkVsJOC started trending nationwide. Fans were picking sides. Some accused Jock of being jealous of Kirk's business success. Others said Kirk had finally shown his true colors as a manipulative opportunist. But one thing everyone agreed on. This wasn't some minor TV drama. This was personal. And things got even more personal when Jock decided to speak out first. Less than 24 hours after the fight, he hopped on Instagram Live, still fuming, and let it all out. "Y'all want to know the truth?" he said, pacing in front of the camera. "The reason me and Kirk ain't cool anymore is because he used me. Straight up. He used my name, my connections, and my loyalty to build his own brand. And when he didn't need me anymore, he tried to play me like I was disposable." The live went viral in minutes. Jock didn't hold back. He aired every dirty detail of their fallout. He claimed that Kirk had cut him out of a joint investment deal after promising they'd go in 50-50ths. He also alleged that Kirk had been talking trash behind his back to promoters, telling them Jock was unreliable and washed up, all while smiling in his face. But the part that really blew fans' minds? Jock claimed that Kirk had been the one leaking stories to the blogs about his messy personal life, including details about his life. If you're a questing life, including details about his breakup and baby mama drama, just to make himself look more stable and business-focused in comparison. "He pretended like he was my brother," Jock said. "But real brothers don't try to destroy your reputation for clout. Real brothers don't compete with you. They build with you." The internet exploded. Fans flooded Kirk's comments with snake emojis and betrayal memes. Even other cast members were shocked. Spice commented under a repost, "This is deeper than reality TV." Carly simply posted a popcorn emoji. Kirk, of course, wasn't going to stay silent. 2 days later, he fired back with a post of his own, a slickly produced video montage of his business ventures and accomplishments, paired with a caption that read, "I built my empire on hard work, not handouts." Some people confuse loyalty with laziness. Don't blame me because I moved forward and you stayed stuck. It was shade, nuclear shade, and Jock caught every syllable of it. He clapped back with another live, calling Kirk a phony businessman who only survived in the industry because of Rashida and reality TV checks. "Let's be real," Jock said. "If it wasn't for Rashida, nobody would even know who you are. You're not a mogul, you're a mascot." The insults were brutal. The friendship was beyond repair. And just when fans thought, at first, Jock denied it. But then the woman, a well-known Atlanta socialite, came forward with receipts. Screenshots of texts, even a photo of her and Jock at a private dinner, taken just 2 weeks before the fight. Fans lost it. Some accused Jock of breaking the bro code. Others said Kirk was being hypocritical given his own messy history. But one thing was clear. This fight was no longer just about business. This was about betrayal, ego, and deep personal wounds that had been festering for years. Behind the scenes, producers were eating it up. The feud had taken on a life of its own, dominating headlines and boosting ratings. But it also made filming a nightmare. Kirk and Jock refused to shoot scenes together. Entire cast events had to be restructured to keep them apart. And when they did end up in the same room, producers had security on standby. According to one insider, the tension was so bad that we had to stop filming twice because we thought they were going to fight again. It wasn't just TV drama anymore. They hate each other. Meanwhile, mutual friends were caught in the crossfire. Carly tried to mediate, but both men accused her of picking sides. Spice, who had been close to both, stopped inviting them to events altogether. Even Rashida, usually the voice of reason, admitted on camera that she didn't think the friendship was salvageable. "Too many lines were crossed," she said in a confessional. "It's not just words anymore. It's betrayal. And when you betray someone like that, there's no going back." It's the worst part. Both men were now trying to destroy each other's reputations off camera too. Kirk allegedly reached out to sponsors to warn them not to work with Jock, calling him unstable. In turn, started pitching his own spin-off show, one that would tell his side of the story without Kirk's involvement. There, one solid bond had turned into a cold. War and the collateral damage was only growing. By the end of the episode, the feud had escalated beyond anything anyone expected. What was once a brotherhood built on loyalty and love was now a battlefield of betrayal and bitterness. And while both men swore they were done with each other, deep down, everyone knew the truth. This war was far from over by now. What was once a tight bond between Kirk, Frost, and Young, Jock had turned into a full-on war. And the battlefield wasn't just social media or reunion confessionals anymore. It was everywhere. Their feud had gone beyond petty shade and public insults. Now it was about destroying reputations, exposing secrets, and making sure the other never recovered. And baby, the tea about to spill in part 3. It was boiling. It all started when an anonymous Instagram account, one known for leaking behind the scenes, reality TV dirt, dropped a thread titled "The Real Reason Kirk and Jock Fell Out." Within minutes, the post had thousands of comments and shares, and what it claimed made jaws drop across the internet. According to the account, Kirk had been hiding a massive business scandal, one that involved mismanaged funds, fake contracts, and a string of unpaid artists, and Jock had the receipts to prove it. The leaks included screenshots of what appeared to be emails between Kirk and a talent agency accusing him of pocketing money from a joint deal. There were invoices with missing payments, legal letters demanding refunds, and even text messages allegedly showing Kirk trying to quietly resolve the issue before it became public. At first, fans thought it was just gossip. But then Jock went live again, this time with documents in hand. "I told y'all I wasn't lying," he said, holding up a stack of papers. "This man was playing dirty behind the scenes while smiling in my face. And when I called him out on it, I was the bad guy." The live stream hit over 1 million views in 24 hours. Jock showed messages that allegedly proved Kirk had funneled money from one of their joint projects into a private account, money that was supposed to pay staff, artists, and vendors. "He was robbing Peter to pay Paul," Jock said. "And then he had the nerve to act like I was the problem." The revelations sent the love and hip-hop fan base into chaos. Kirk, who had built his brand as a business-savvy mogul and family man, was now being dragged as a scammer and snake. Sponsors started going quiet. A few even unfollowed him on Instagram. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse for Kirk, they did, because Kirk wasn't about to sit back and take that kind of public humiliation. Oh no, he had dirt too. And in typical reality TV fashion, he decided to play his trump card in the most savage way possible, by leaking Jock's deepest secret in an explosive on-camera confession filmed just weeks later. Kirk dropped a bombshell that shook the entire cast. "Since Jock wants to talk about money," he said, leaning back in his chair, "let's talk about the fact that he's been hiding a baby for almost a year. Yeah, that part." The room erupted. Castmates screamed. Producers gasped. Even Rashida looked stunned. Jock, who had sworn he was done having kids and was focused on rebuilding himself, was now accused of secretly fathering a child with a woman he had been seeing on the side and never telling anyone about it. At first, Jock denied it. But within hours, blogs had photos, screenshots, and even a birth certificate. It was real, and the damage was immediate. Fans turned on Jock, calling him a hypocrite for painting himself as the loyal one while hiding a huge part of his life. Some even accused him of leaking Kirk's business secrets as revenge for Kirk knowing about the baby. Social media was on fire. #Babygate trended for days. Jock's baby mama, a former dancer from Houston, even went on a podcast and spilled the tea about their relationship, claiming Jock had promised her a future that never came. "He told me they were done," she said tearfully. "He said he wasn't with anyone seriously. And then I see him on TV playing victim. Nah, I had to speak my truth." The fallout was brutal. Jack's image took a massive hit. Endorsement deals were canceled. His podcast lost sponsors. Even some of his castmates started distancing themselves. "It's one thing to have drama," Spice said on camera. "It's another to lie to everybody, fans included." But the craziest part, even after all the scandal, all the betrayal, and all the receipts, neither Kirk nor Jock showed any signs of backing down. Instead, their feud escalated into something even uglier, a legal battle. But Kirk wasn't about to let Jock humiliate him without a counterattack, and his retaliation was savage. A week after the Frost Files dropped, Kirk sat down for an exclusive interview with a major gossip outlet and unleashed bombshells of his own. He accused Jock of not only hiding a baby, but also cheating on his fiancée with multiple women, including one cast member and a producer from the show. Kirk claimed he had photos, hotel receipts, and even security footage to back it up. If Jock wants to talk receipts, Kirk said coldly, "I've got plenty. And they're a whole lot uglier than some business emails." The internet exploded again. Within hours, blogs were posting blurry screenshots of Jock leaving a hotel with a mystery woman. A former crew member even came forward anonymously, claiming Jock had tried to get them fired after they caught him sneaking someone into his trailer during filming. At this point, it wasn't just a feud, it was a scorched earth campaign. Every secret, every mistake, every skeleton in the closet was being dragged into the light, and the collateral damage was massive. Rashida, who had mostly stayed out of the drama to protect her brand, was now being dragged into it too. Some fans accused her of enabling Kirk's shady behavior. Others speculated that her silence meant she knew more than she was letting on. On social media, it's posted a simple message: "Some battles aren't worth fighting," but it did little to stop the backlash. Meanwhile, Jock's fiancée Kendra was reportedly devastated by the cheating allegations. Sources close to her claimed she moved out of there, shared home temporarily, and was reconsidering the future. It was another blow to Jock's already crumbling image, and Kirk knew it. But Jock wasn't finished yet. In the most shocking twist of the season, did something no one saw coming. He reached out to RASHEEDA. In a secret meeting filmed for the show. Jock told Rashida that he didn't want their families torn apart by the feud, but sources say that wasn't the real reason he was trying to turn her against Kirk. Jock allegedly showed Rashida documents proving Kirk had been hiding financial issues from her, including a failed investment she had no idea existed. Rashida was furious. Cameras caught her confronting Kirk in their home, demanding answers. "You're out here fighting with Jock while lying to me," she yelled. "This isn't about business anymore. This is about trust." The fight nearly ended in Rashida packing her bags. And though she ultimately stayed, insiders say their marriage was more strained than ever. It wasn't just Kirk and Jock's friendship that was destroyed. It was marriages, partnerships, reputations, and livelihoods. And with every new revelation, the damage was spreading further. By mid-season, the cast had split into two camps. Team Jock, which included Scrappy, Spice, and Carly, painted Kirk as a manipulative, two-faced opportunist. Team Kirk, with Rashida, Sierra, and Bambi, portrayed Jock as a liar, a hypocrite, and a narcissist trying to play victim. Filming became chaos. Fights broke out at group events. Cast members refused to shoot together. Producers reportedly had to hire double the security to keep things from getting violent. "It's never been like this before," one insider admitted. "We've had drama, we've had fights, but this is next-level hate." I know. And just when it seemed like the show couldn't get any more toxic, a new player entered the game. A mysterious ex-employee from one of Kirk and Jock's joint ventures contacted a popular gossip blogger, claiming to have proof of criminal activity, including tax fraud and illegal payouts. According to them, if the receipts were real, both Kirk and Jock could face legal consequences. The blogger teased that they'd release everything on a live stream the following week. Fans were on edge. The cast was panicking. And Kirk and Jock, once inseparable brothers, were now two men staring down the barrel of mutual destruction. By now, the feud between Kirk Frost and young Jock had blown way past petty arguments and reality TV drama. This was no longer about shade, spilled secrets, or broken friendships. This was about survival. Reputations were ruined, careers were on the line, and now the law was getting involved. The tension reached a breaking point when the anonymous ex-employee made good on their promise. In a late-night live stream that broke viewership records, they dropped what they called the final receipts. And baby, these weren't your average screenshots. These were federal-level receipts, tax documents, bank statements, shell company records, all allegedly tied to joint ventures between Kirk and Jock that were, according to the whistleblower, not just shady, but criminal. The allegations? Embezzlement, tax evasion, fraud. The live stream was a bomb. Within hours, TMZ, The Shade Room, and every major hip-hop blog had picked up the story. Headlines screamed things like Kirk and Jock facing legal heat over alleged fraud scheme, and Love and Hip-Hop stars could be investigated by IRS. Both men immediately went into panic mode. Kirk hired a high-powered legal team in Atlanta. Jock reportedly fired his entire management staff and replaced them with crisis PR specialists. VH1 producers were forced to release a statement claiming they were closely monitoring the situation, and insiders said, privately, they were terrified of filming being subpoenaed if the investigation turned real. What made it worse was how different their approaches were. Kirk went silent, pulling out of public appearances and refusing to comment. Jock, however, did the opposite, going on every podcast, every IG Live, every interview he could book to defend himself. "I didn't steal anything," Jock said during one particularly heated interview. "All I ever did was trust someone I thought was my brother, and he played me. If anything illegal happened, it was on his side, not mine." Kirk's team fired back immediately, calling Jock's claims desperate deflections and accusing him of trying to weaponize the media to sway public opinion. The back and forth got so ugly that lawyers reportedly advised both men to stop talking altogether. But it was too late. The damage had already been done. Sponsors started dropping like flies. A major liquor brand canceled its collaboration with Jock just days before launch. Kirk's clothing line lost to retail deals. A financial services company that had partnered with them on a business seminar pulled out completely. Millions of dollars gone overnight. But the most devastating blow wasn't financial. It was personal. Rashida, already furious over Kirk's alleged lies, was now facing questions about whether she knew about the shady dealings. At one point during filming, she broke down in tears, telling producers, "I built my entire brand on honesty and hard work. If this is true, it destroys everything we stand for." Meanwhile, Jock's fiancée Kendra, who had been silent since the cheating rumors, released a statement announcing that their engagement was over. "I stood by him through too much," she wrote. "But I refuse to stand by a man who can't be honest with me, with himself, or with the law." The internet lost its mind. Fans were now calling this the end of the Kirk and Jock era. Meme pages roasted them. Comment sections turned into digital war zones. Even former castmates chimed in. Stevie J tweeted, "Shoulda kept it about the music," while Erica Dixon wrote, "This is why I don't mix business with friendship." And then, the subpoena arrived, according to multiple reports. Both Kirk and Jock received official notices that their business records were being requested as part of a federal financial review, while no charges were filed yet. The fact that the IRS and state investigators were even looking into them sent shockwaves through the industry. This isn't just a storyline anymore. One insider told a blog, "This is real life and real consequences." But even as the walls closed in, the drama still wasn't done. JOC, desperate to shift the narrative, dropped one last bombshell: a secretly recorded phone call between him and Kirk from earlier in the year. In the audio, Kirk could allegedly be heard saying, "We'll cook the books until the deal closes. After that, no one can touch us." Fans went wild. Was it real? Was it edited? Kirk's lawyers called it manipulated audio, but the damage was done. For many viewers, it was proof that Kirk was the mastermind behind the shady dealings, and that Jock was more pawn than partner. And just when you thought things couldn't possibly get any darker, they did. VH1 insiders revealed that both Kirk and Jock's contracts for the next season were under review. Producers were reportedly debating whether either man could return to the show or if illegal risks and reputational damage were too great. "This is supposed to be entertainment," one exec said. "But when real crimes are involved, that changes everything." By the time the season finale wrapped, Kirk and Jock were both shells of their former selves. Their friendship, dead. Their reputations, in tatters. The streets of Atlanta had never seen a storm like this. Not in business, not in music, and definitely not in the world of love and hip-hop. The once unbreakable bond between Kirk Frost and young Jock was gone, and in its place stood two men who had gone from brothers to bitter enemies. But even after months of scandals, lawsuits, betrayals, and public humiliation, the story wasn't finished. Because the final blow, the one that would end everything, was still on the way. It all started with a single cryptic Instagram post. No caption, no location. Just a blurry photo of a contract and one line highlighted in neon yellow: "Exclusive rights transfer agreement." The post was uploaded by none other than Jock himself. Within minutes, fan pages, blogs, and gossip channels were on fire. What did it mean? What rights? And why was he posting it now? The answer dropped the very next day, and it was a bombshell that even seasoned love and hip-hop fans weren't ready for. According to newly leaked documents, Jock had quietly sold his 50% stake in their joint company to a third party, a powerful entertainment firm with deep pockets and a ruthless reputation. And guess who the buyer was? A direct competitor of Kirk's new business venture. It was the ultimate revenge move. Not only had Jock cashed out and walked away with a multi-million-dollar payday, but he had also handed control of their once shared empire to Kirk's biggest rival. For Kirk, it was more than betrayal, it was annihilation. The fallout was immediate. Kirk's expansion plans collapsed overnight. Investors pulled out. Deals fell apart. His reputation, already shaky, was now in free fall. Insiders say he lost nearly $2 million in projected revenue within days of the news breaking. But Jock wasn't celebrating. Not yet. Because even though he had scored the final hit, the price he paid for revenge was steep. Sponsors still hadn't returned. His engagement was over, and fans once loyal to Team Jock were now divided. Some praised him for getting even. Others accused him of being petty and vindictive.